Hi, good morning guys, thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's well. Hope everyone's managing to get through all these troubling times, and it's been an absolute nightmare. I'm just glad now that some of the restrictions have been lifted in England, which means that we can come out just a little bit more frequently. I've just come out today just to get a bit of fresh air. So where I am at the moment, I've just come down to the permission. I've just spent an hour or two just cleaning everything back, just getting rid of any kind of trip hazards and just cleaning away a little bit of undergrowth, just so we've got a nice flat clean area. And it's real nice ground, nice and spongy. So what I thought to do whilst I'm out, I'm just going to start just preparing a couple of things for the camp. So I brought just a little bag of tools down. I've just got the belt knife, a couple of smaller little knives, some cordage and that kind of thing, just in the pouch. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a few tent stakes or some stakes for the top. I'm also going to make a maul or a mallet, something like that, and I've got a few longer lengths, so I might either start making a chair, that kind of thing, or perhaps making a tripod. So to start off with, we're going to make a start on the maul. I've got myself a nice piece of sycamore there, and the reason why I think it was cut down, I found it on the path actually, is because it had been damaged. So it's quite a, I've not seen it really before. So if you can see there where something's hit the bark, and you can see just on the inside there where it's starting to break down and rot a little bit, and then it seems to have travelled up to the top end, but it's not too bad there. So this side we're going to end up probably doing the handle out of that, so we can get rid of that brown part there, and then the head we shall make out of the fatter part up at the top here. So I'm just going to get rid of just that bit of an angle there, just to satisfy my OCD, and then we can start putting a cut just around the circumference and taping it down for the handle. Okay, so I've just cut off, like I say, in that little bit of an angle now, so we just flattened off that top end. So the first thing we're going to do is put a cut all the way around. Now for those of you which have done this before, it's a very simple little project, but I've got quite a few new subscribers, so I just want to say hello to you guys, and if it is that you've never done this kind of thing before, I suppose it's always nice just to learn. So like I say, we just want to get rid of this bad end here, so just trying to work out perhaps just make a smallish head, which means I can get rid of any of this bad part here if it's gone in too deep. So just going to work the cut all the way around. So what we've done there is made that cut all the way around now so it touches, and I'm just going to go back around and then just try and level off the depth. So just looking how deep it is on the saw blade. Okay, so now we've got that groove that runs all the way around the outside. It's now just a case of just getting the knife and just splitting away the outer parts of the wood so that we can actually just taper down that handle. And already I've run into a little bit of difficulty in the last woodlands where I had around about 2 or 3 different logs and that kind of thing, which were nice for cutting on. So that's something which I've got to source, you know, pretty relatively quick just for these kind of projects, and also cutting down firewood and that kind of thing. So at the moment I've just got this birch that's downed. I'm just going to rest it on there, and like I say, I'm just going to get the knife and just gently split away this outer part of the wood. Okay, so once you've removed the outer section of wood, you can now see that the handle there is starting to take shape. So it's just a case really now of getting the knife and just shaping the handle so it's nice and comfortable for yourself. What I may do is just shorten it down just a little bit, just to get rid of this end here. As you can see there, that's that damp or that rot which is just running up the centre there. It's not the best piece of wood, but it should last for a while. Like I say, you don't have to spend a great deal of time on these, but if it was a decent piece of wood, I'd probably just make a nice little flare on the handle, that kind of thing. But with this one, I'm just going to thin the handle down, make it so it's nice and comfortable. I may just bore a hole in it and just put a piece of cordage through it, just so that we can hang it up and keep it out of the dirt. Okay, so I'm quite happy now with the thickness of that. That's not too bad. It will shrink down a little bit as it dries, and obviously it will lose a little bit of the weight. So the next thing we're going to do, we're just going to bore a hole just through the handle. If I got the Swiss Army knife, I could use the reamer off that, but I brought out with me just a small little auger. Not sure what size it is. It's probably around about 10mm, something like that. So we're just going to pop the hole in. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds. And that's the auger now, come all the way through. Just split it just a little bit just at the edge there, but that was pretty much expected. Just taking it through that bad bit of wood there, but that's the job done anyway. That's the hole put through. Pull it back out. And then just to clean it, you can just put it in from the opposite side and just run it back through the hole there, just like so. Okay, so there's the hole. So we're just going to put a bit of cordage through. I've got some jute. I might just reverse wrap it just to make it just a little bit thicker. So I'll just crack on with that now. So for this, we're just going to reverse wrap it just to double the thickness, just makes it a little bit more stronger, just a little bit more durable. So we're just going to twist it just until it starts to loop on itself, and I'm just going to continue with that now all the way down, which I have got videos showing the reverse twist, so I'm not going to bore you to death and expect you to sit here for 10 minutes whilst I do this. But it doesn't take a great deal of time once you get into it and you just get a little bit of experience with it. So just twisting away, pulling back, twisting away, pulling back, and then what it's done there for us, just double up that thickness like so. And then you just do exactly the same kind of thing for nettle cordage and bramble cordage, which, looking around, looks like we're still in time for the bramble cordage. I might make a little bit more this year. I used it on quite a few of the spoons which I've carved, and it's quite a nice little finish once you've carved the spoon and put a little lanyard on it. Okay, so once you're happy with the length of it, that's going to be tied into a loop, so that should do really. It's just a case of just tying just an overhand knot just at this back end here, just to secure everything. Never to let that go, it doesn't really want to spin, that's the idea behind it. But eventually we'll start to untwist if I left it as it is, so that should do there. So we're just going to tie just a quick overhand knot there just at the back, which will secure it and stop everything from coming undone, and then we're just going to pop it just through the hole and then tie just another overhand knot just up at the top here. But before I do that, I've carved a couple of beads. These are just out of a little bit of alder, very simple to make. You just carve them out and then push the pithy core through. So we'll put that on just prior to tying the knot, just to finish it off a little bit, but also you can slide that little bead down and it stops the lanyard then from flapping about. So before I do that, I'm just going to snip that knot off, slide the bead over, and then just tie them two pieces together. Okay, so the next job which we're going to do, we're going to make just a few stakes for the top. So what I've got here, 4 lengths of hazel, I'd say around about 18 inches each, and I could perhaps cut them in half, but with this ground being quite spongy, like I mentioned first thing this morning, I might just make them the full length so that we can bang them in, because with the top basically much just being like a sail, any strong wind in this soft ground there's a good chance of lifting these stakes or pegs out of the ground. So we're not going to spend a great deal of time on them. Just going to cut just a quick notch in the top and just chamfer the bottom, and we're pretty much done. So we're just going to go back over to that little stump over there. So the first thing we're going to do is just cut just a number 7 notch up at the top here. I'll just pan the camera down just so you can have a close look at it. Okay, so if your wood tapers like this one does, it's just slightly thicker up at this top end. I'm going to put the notch up at this top end and just take advantage of it thinning down just at the bottom. So just a couple of inches down, we're just going to put just a stop cut. I'm going to put that round about 1/3 of the way into the wood, just like so. I'll just go just a touch deeper, and then we're just going to meet up with that with the knife. So just be careful when you start off, just take your time, just chipping these first few little notches out. And once you've got a little bit of depth, you can then just push in just a little bit deeper. clean that notch out. So that there is the number 7 notch. What I may do, I'm just going to flatten that top off, just straighten it out just a little bit. And then just at the top now, we can just go around and just crown just the top off. Just like so. And just, it's more just for looks than anything else. If you wanted to, you could just snap a branch off, and if it's got a bit of a fork, you can just bang it in and just get your bungee or whatever it is that you fasten to your top and just fasten it just where the little twig would be. So that's just the top end, and then for the bottom we're just going to very quickly put a point on it. If you've got an axe, you could just cut it straight through, or with the saw you could just cut a steep angle. Like I said, it's not as though the ground is too hard, so the point itself hasn't got to be anything spectacular. Okay, so there's the 4 stakes made up. Those should last for quite a while. The last ones I had up at the other camp, I just left them in the ground, and then every now and again if you had to reposition the top I pulled them up. But these kind of things, they're going to last a couple of years, maybe longer than that, before they start breaking down. And that there was the maul which we've just finished, so again we could use that for knocking in the stakes, but more for splitting down the wood for any kind of carving, or perhaps I want to use it with an axe for splitting down firewood, but again for carving, that kind of thing. So I've had an enjoyable morning, nice to get out. What I'm going to do now for the rest of the afternoon, I'm just going to try and find myself a bit of a cutting block basically, so I can put it here, and then I haven't got to keep walking over there just to cut the wood down, and then I might just leave the tripod until next time we come up. So I have had a couple of tags, so I'd just like to thank the people who have tagged me. I'll probably get them done next time I'm back down in the woods, but now when I come down at least I've got the things ready if it's raining to put the tarp up and that kind of thing. So like always guys, you want to stay safe. If it is that you're still in lockdown, fingers crossed it won't be too long before we're all back out again and enjoying this kind of weather and enjoying the fresh air and the freedom. So like always guys, till next time, you take care and I'll see you again.